Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So we're going to be talking about Saw X, and apparently Jigsaw is now a hero. We're going to be talking about some of the Exorcist believer. Is the same demon in this Exorcist film that was in the previous Exorcist film? And we're going to be talking a box office update for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So before we get started, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here. So let's jump into this Saw X article here and see why now Jigsaw is apparently a hero of the movie. The director reveals that Saw X will present Jigsaw in a new light, framing him as hero of the movie. Saw X will focus more on John Kramer as a human rather than Jigsaw, exploring his fears and personal story. The placement of Saw X between the first two movies and putting Jigsaw in the protagonist seat marks it as an important installment that could shape the future of the franchise. The director goes on to say, quote, "John is absolutely the protagonist in this movie. He is a man who's ill. He's a guy who's been looking to extend his life. And in the process of him thinking he's getting his life extended, shit goes down. There it is, but he's absolutely the hero of this movie. He's in this movie. I haven't done the math, but he's probably more than the last 6 or 7 movies combined. This is his movie. This is John Kramer's story as a human, not as Jigsaw. We'll get there, trust me, but as a human, and like, his fears and what's going on in his life at the time." The other major factor marking Saw X as one of the most important movies in the franchise is putting Jigsaw in the protagonist seat in comparison to prior installments, which largely saw him regulated to the villainous overseer or the flashbacks explaining his motives. Many audiences have previously expressed the feeling that Kramer was not an outright villain in the Saw movies, as he never directly kills his victims and generally targets those leading seedy lives. If the director and his team can successfully make a sympathetic character out of Jigsaw with Saw X, it would establish an interesting new direction for the franchise. So guys, now jumping over to the Exorcist article here. The Exorcist believer director addresses whether the demon is Pazuzu from the original movie. Director David Gordon Green clarifies that the demon in the new Exorcist movie is not Pazuzu, the primary antagonist of the original 1973 movie. The new movie follows Ellen Bernstein's character, Chris McNeil, as she sought for advice when 2 young girls go missing and appear to be possessed. While Green does not reveal the identity of the new demon, he suggests that knowledgeable demonologists may be able to identify it. The director of The Exorcist Believer has clarified whether the demon featured in the new movie is Pazuzu. Pazuzu, the primary antagonist of the original 1973 The Exorcist, though the possession in the iconic horror movie is frequently misattributed to the devil himself, the Legacy sequel, which sees original star Ellen Bernstein return to the role as Chris McNeil for the first time, will follow the character's advice being sought by a new distraught parent after a pair of young girls seem to be possessed after going missing. After sitting down with IGN for an exclusive interview, the director went on to say, quote, "We use a new demon, no Pazuzu. We feature a demon who, studied demonologists might know." Despite lacking the consistent presence of Pazuzu, The Exorcist Believer is staying true to the legacy of the franchise. Ultimately, the Exorcist sequels have been centered around following the threads of various characters from the 1973 original, rather than focusing on Pazuzu's exploits specifically. The return of Chris McNeil puts the new movie much more in line with the series than the return of Pazuzu likely would have. Okay guys, with that down, we're going to hop over to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Box office opening already recovers half of the $70 million budget. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem had a promising opening weekend, making $45 million at the domestic box office already. The movie is a reboot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise based on the popular comic series that started in 1984. The plot follows the 4 main heroes as they take on the crime syndicate, comprised of powerful mutants led by Superfly. As the 7th feature-length movie in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, Mutant Mayhem has a lot to live up to. It still has a long way to go if it wants to match up with the highest grossing entries in the series. However, its opening weekend has already outgrossed the entire run of the 1993's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, which totaled $42.2 million, not adjusted for inflation. Per Deadline, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem box office has turned out a solid domestic opening gross. Given an extra boost by its midweek Wednesday release on August 2nd, the movie had a 3-day gross of $30 million, which will end up $45 million by the end of the weekend. This means that the movie will have already made back more than half of its $70 million budget at the domestic box office. Mutant Mayhem will face its biggest box office competition with the original 1990 movie and the 2014 live-action movie, both of which are titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The former earned $202 million worldwide, while the latter earned a whopping $485 million. While the international numbers for the new movie will likely help boost its overall opening, the competition of Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 makes it hard to tell if it can reach said heights. With that down, guys, that's all the movie news we have for today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and join me as we talk about movies. I will see you soon.